Welcome to Focus Stack, the podcast where we layer conversations on creativity and photography. I'm your host, photographer and educator Jim Ryman, and in each episode, I'll be sitting down with different photographers to learn about the stories, techniques, and inspiration behind their work. From creative breakthroughs to industry challenges, we go beyond the frame to uncover what shapes a photographer's vision. Hello, everyone, and welcome to episode 4 of the Focus Stack podcast. I'm just going to take care of the usual YouTube housekeeping stuff here. So if you would like to help show your support for the show, please like and subscribe on YouTube. Also, I do have an Instagram account set up for the show, and if you'd like to see when new episodes go live or see updates or behind the scenes things, we'll be posting stuff there. And then also, if you are a photographer and would like to be on the show, we do have a link tree in the link in the description, both on Instagram and on YouTube, where you can sign up to be a guest on a future show and we can talk about your work. So now that that's all out of the way, I want to introduce our guest for the episode. And her name is Cintia Segovia, and she is a conceptual photographer whose work deals with concepts surrounding being bilingual and immigration and cultural displacement. Welcome to the show, Cintia. You are right there. There we go. Hey.
Yeah, hello. Hey, Jim. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Good. I'm so excited to be here. And we have had so many conversations about photography and teaching and how it also impacts our life in general. So I'm excited to be here and having this conversation.
Yeah, I didn't mention in the intro, but you are a professor at Murray State University in Kentucky.
Yeah, in Western Kentucky.
Yeah. How is it in Kentucky right now?
Right now it's super cold. We might get a tornado warning in 4 days. So
oh wow,
it's an exciting it's
careful.
a very different climate. Yeah. Yeah, it's very different from Los Angeles, where I was at for the last 10 years. So.
Yeah, there it's instead of tornadoes, it's earthquakes or wildfires.
Yeah, yeah, true.
All right. So usually how we start out the show is have the photographer talk about how they got into photography and just kind of walk through the creative path. So I know you wanted me to screen share. Would you like me to do that now?
Yeah, please.
Yep. All right.
Okay. So I just wanted to start with this collage because this is my work is about my identity growing up in Mexico City. And I didn't have a lot of access to museums, but I lived really the culture of Mexico on the streets, celebrating like Day of the Dead and nativity scenes. So that is the kind of like the background of my growing up and my sources of inspiration, and that combined with my experience now being in the US and how my psyche has played a role on how I grew up and now living in the US and experiencing being a citizen of these two very different countries that have contrasting values in many times. So this work that you have on the screen is called Quinceañera, which I think a lot of people know that is our version in Mexico of the Sweet 16. Mm-hmm. And when I was 15 years old, I didn't want to have that. It was way too traditional for me. And but when I was living in Los Angeles, I was very attracted to this idea of the quinceañera, and I found this cake in the Vallarta, which is a Mexican, like a Latino market. And I saw this cake and I wanted to be like this Barbie that was on this cake. So that's how I ended up making this collage. And what you see on the background is photograph that I took were in the little town where my mom is from, which is in the state of Morelos, and the town is called Cuautla. So this is all like this was all there. Like Mexico is this country of contrast, and you can see on the that there are baby Jesuses that are dressed up for
Well,
different occasions.
in the background? Right.
Yeah,
Oh, nice.
this
I
each
didn't
one
know
of
that was
them. Yeah,
baby Jesus back there.
yeah,
Cool.
yeah. They are all baby Jesuses, and they sell the little dresses for them, so you can dress them depending on what saints day you're celebrating.
Oh, okay. All
Mhm.
right. And did you want me to
So
stop the screen share at this point?
yeah,
Okay.
please.
All right. And so you grew up in Mexico. When did you come to the United States?
I was 25
Okay.
and I didn't know much English. I had like I knew words like the same way that Americans like might know how to say like gracias and
Hmm.
like adios and things like that. I just knew those. So I really learned English as an adult.
I can imagine that was pretty difficult. Like, how long did
It
it take
was,
you?
and it was, well, it was, I you never stop learning.
Hmm.
But when I went to grad school, I had to learn English and also learn art because my
Hmm.
undergrad is not in photography.
Hmm.
My parents didn't let me study photography. I
Hmm.
discovered photography when I was 17 years old, and I asked my parents to please, I begged them to please buy me an SLR camera, um, film 35 millimeter camera. And we used to mix our own developer and print our like mix everything like on the chip. And
Hmm.
my first film didn't turn out, and I was like devastated, as
Oh.
after so much work. But then when I realized like this is really hard, and that's why, and I want to do this thing
Hmm.
that is the hardest thing that I have had in my life. So that's when I decided to be a photographer. And my parents didn't let me study photography as an undergrad because
Hmm.
they said that I was going to starve to death.
Oh no. Yeah. A starving
Probably,
artist.
yeah, yeah, probably your audience can relate to that stereotype. So I decided to go on the route of television and working in post production.
Hmm.
And eventually I came back to photography, like to trust my instinct, to trust myself, and to really photography saved me in many ways. I'm a much happier person now that I do what I love.
Hmm.
And the process of learning photography was such that had to integrate it in my work. So you can see in that collage that I showed you, you can see this contrast of these two things that are kind of fighting each other. And so photography for me has always been about discovering how my identity evolves based on these social changes and how
Hmm.
I digest it emotionally.
Oh, great. Would you like to jump back to your work now, and we can talk about some more of that?
Yeah, so yeah, let's go back there. Okay, good. So I wanted to you asked me about how I learned English or how was that process? And
Hmm.
I actually feel more comfortable making video work. And in this video work, this is called Repeat After Me. So around when I had been here for 3 years, I decided that I wanted to get rid of my accent.
Oh.
I was
Oh.
I was
Just get rid
working
of it.
get rid of it. I didn't want it because I was working at a VFX house and I was on the phone a lot of the time. And I hated these conversations about, like, oh, you're not from here, right? Like, where are you
Mm,
from? And all those things.
mhm,
And I was like, I just want to do my job. So I wanted to get rid of my accent. And also, I was teaching and I felt that the students didn't understand me, so I still have words that are difficult, like depth, like for depth of field, like it's
mhm,
hard because. So I went to this accent reduction coach, They are real.
Oh,
Uh-huh. And this is my accent reduction coach, correcting my accent. And is I would say that she doesn't see it as correcting it, but just making it more legible.
okay.
So she would make me look at her, like this video, like it's about like, look at my mouth, look at my tongue, see how the tongue is touching the palate of my mouth, like exactly like for that th sound, for example,
Hmm.
like that th sound. We
Uh-huh.
don't have th in Spanish, so
Oh,
it's
yeah.
very difficult.
Hmm.
For example, if I wanted to say uh, this one is still like true story, I still struggle with. I live very close to Missouri, right? So
Hmm.
I still want to say San Luis, like San Luis Potosi, which is a state in Mexico. So it's really
Oh,
hard for me to say like Saint Louis.
oh, I see. You, because you say Sant? Is that?
I say San.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Okay.
So this video was all about like really this catharsis of me going through this process of correcting my accent and making kind of like making peace with that is going to be what it is, and making and showing everyone like this is what I try to do, and like converting my experience in like my other aspects of my life, like my personal life, into an artwork.
Okay. And so when this is seen, this is like what it looks like when is it like projected or on a screen in the gallery?
It's interspersed, so it's like a
Okay.
montage.
Okay.
So these are just like two clips from that.
Okay. And then it's just like the close up of you pronouncing, just like how you were told to
Mhm.
look at the the accent coach. What's a word that comes up in here that is like when you see it being shown or when people see it being shown, like what are the types of reactions as you say different words?
It's very uncomfortable. So
Yeah.
I also do performance pieces, like interactive performance. So
Mm.
imagine that I'm sit like in this same setup, like I'm
Mhm.
sitting in I set up an immigration office.
Oh
So
wow.
in this immigration office, I make people go through the in a very quick way the
Mhm.
same interview questions that I was asked when I became a citizen, which are like, are you here to overthrow the government of this country? What is the year that the Declaration of Independence was written? And most Americans,
1776.
yes, that was that.
Was
How
that
many?
correct?
I think, yeah, I think so. How many representatives do we have in the House of Representatives? Yes, I know. So I had to memorize these 100 questions. So I asked these questions to the person that comes like and does the performance with me, but I also correct their accent. So I correct their accent for words that are difficult for them, which would be like double R. And I think
Oh yeah.
I have done this with you, right? Like I think I
Yeah.
have asked you to pronounce like things with double R before.
Yeah, my R's are pretty flat. They don't roll. So,
Yeah. So in real life I have asked you to look at my lips and to do
mhm.
and to look at how I'm running my R's, right?
Mhm.
And you have experienced how uncomfortable that is.
Mhm. I don't know if I ever told you this, but my first stepdad was Mexican,
Oh yeah.
and he would try to he would teach us some Spanish. And actually, my youngest sister is half Mexican, and she can roll her R's just fine. I still can't.
Well, it's a work in progress, right? And
Mhm.
if people understand you anyways, Jim, it's all fine.
Like, I guess I was wondering, like in when you walk into a gallery, is this like a large presentation where it really is like in their face, or is it more or small, or does it kind of depend on the space?
This is just like whatever fits on the space, but
Okay.
I'm going to go to this work now,
Hmm.
and this is actually a very large work. So this is
Okay.
like it's so every one of them is 46 inches, so it's about like, I don't know, 8 feet maybe.
Oh, okay.
painting.
Every one of them's 46 inches tall.
Every, yeah, like every panel. So every two photographs is
Oh, okay.
40. I guess it's actually 43 inches.
Oh, okay.
So yeah. So this work is called the Chile Mole Dulce, which I like. I chose that because it doesn't have a direct translation, but basically is the flavors of tamales.
Okay.
I love. And this one, I wanted to make work about my how I don't look like a Mexican. Uh, so I had this work was exhibited in the Museum of Latin American Art and was acquired by them and is now in part of their museum collection. It
Hmm.
also traveled to the Santa Cruz Museum of Art, and it was a very rewarding process. So around when I was a green card holder, I felt like a complete what is just not a failure, but just like pretending to be someone that I wasn't,
Oh,
because
okay.
I felt that I wasn't a photographer, I wasn't Mexican enough, and I wasn't American enough. People would tell me that I didn't look Mexican, and they would say are you really Mexican? And I was like, I don't know, like maybe, like, was I
Maybe
born in
just a little.
Mexico? Yeah.
So
Um,
so is it like an imposter
in
syndrome,
imposter,
like
yeah,
something like
yes.
that?
Yes,
Okay.
an imposter syndrome in so many ways, also as an educator, like feeling like I wasn't like good enough to be a teacher. So there were a lot of things happening, and I made a point of asking students to pose in from two different campuses in Los Angeles to pose for me, and I set shop in the backyard basically, and I
Hmm.
just put two strobe lights and my power packs and like hope
Hmm.
for the best.
Hmm.
Obviously, in a very aware society, if you ask people to pose with a sombrero and a mustache, they will probably say no. But my
Hmm.
point was how what do people expect to see when when you say you look like a Mexican, like someone with a sombrero and a mustache. So that's
Hmm.
why I wanted to use that stereotype, and in
Hmm.
order to do that, I had to ask them to do it because of my story. And also I want I this has another part that is an interview. So I
Hmm.
interview them and I ask them how they have been discriminated against, and I was just so surprised that everyone has felt minimized by someone else in some aspect of their lives, and that was like complete news to me back then.
Hmm. Yeah. And why do you think that is? Was it just the perception of how things are here versus elsewhere?
I think it's because I used to see them. I was a very shy person, and I
Hmm.
didn't want to. I was very subconscious about my accent. I made a lot of mistakes. People said that they didn't understand exactly what I was saying, right?
Hmm.
So I
Hmm.
felt that everyone else, like Americans, everyone that didn't have an accent was a perfect
Hmm.
model of an American, and
Hmm.
they seem to have perfect lives
Hmm.
from the outside, right? So
Sure.
when I talked to each one of them, I realized that they were experiencing different types of discrimination. Not
Hmm.
and I was like, duh, like
No,
obviously
yeah.
like people have different experiences and they have felt that they are not good enough for different reasons, and they so that made me feel like I belong more in America
Mm,
because turns out that I had a lot in common with other people.
mm. Do you think that's because of how like the idea of the American dream is sold as an idea like that everything's perfect in the United States from an outside perspective?
I think everyone that comes to a new country that doesn't dominate the language feels the same way, like a
Mm,
deep loneliness. You don't have any friends. You miss your food, you miss your family, and you just feel like as an outsider.
mm. And then you see it's a mess here too, right?
Yes. And then you
Yeah.
see that it's a mess here too. And then you're like, oh, I'm in good
Oh,
company.
okay.
Yeah. Yeah, so this was a pivotal work in my life. It also has an interactive component that, so I thought that this was a stereotype and I didn't want to talk about it, right? But
Hmm.
in the opening, I brought the sombrero and I brought like these mustaches, and people were posing in front of it and reposting it, like posting it on social media. And that was like such a mind-bending experience for me to think about
Yeah.
what happens with the work when I don't have control over it.
Oh, interesting.
And
Um,
what, yeah.
by any
the-
chance, have you ever been to south of the border in South Carolina?
no.
Um, this is kind of a sidetrack, but there is a truck stop on the it's like, I want to say it's in South Carolina, just below the North Carolina South Carolina border, and it is all Mexican themed, but it's like stereotypical Mexican themed, and like I think there's a little like theme park there called Pedro Land, and they have a sombrero that you can go up in. It's like a little viewing tower, and it's very strange. Just yeah, just one of the it kind of reminds me of this idea of these what people just think, and they're just like jumping into these characters because it's just
Yeah.
a total stereotype.
Yeah, that must be an experience to be there.
Yeah, you should go.
Yeah. Now it's so close by for me, so I should. Totally should. I think this work was interesting because of what happened afterwards. So
Hmm.
when the show came down, the board had to decide if they wanted to acquire this work or not.
Mm.
And that it was another interesting part of the wondering about if a museum of Latin American art wants to have a show that perpetuates this stereotype. And it's
Yeah.
very different interpretation from some people. Like some people felt that this like perpetuated it, and other
Hmm.
people felt that it was so outrageous that you need to have like that sense of humor to understand that this is actually fighting that.
Hmm. I wonder if the people that posted this on social media, if like, what year was this?
2017.
Okay, I'm wondering as we became a little bit more culturally aware in the 2020s, I wonder if
Yeah.
people are like, "Oh, I should probably delete that." You know, I wonder if they have
Yeah.
any thought
Or
about going back to those photos and scrubbing them just in case it gets them in trouble somewhere.
yeah. Or I wonder if like they put it in context where they were like, do I look like a Mexican, or like what it makes a
Hmm.
Mexican, or yeah, it's a history. I was talking about like this um thing about my identity changing, right?
Hmm.
And like the reason why I like to be a photographer is to because I reflect on how I change with these different changes in society as well. And I also
Hmm.
love like the conversations about it and learning um about photography and what I don't know. And so
Hmm.
this work, when I moved from Los Angeles to Kentucky, a lot of people asked me why I had done that, and
Hmm.
and what are you doing there, right?
Why?
So I made this work because of that
Hmm.
conversation. So I'm gonna play a little bit of it.
Okay.
So this video was shot in three different cities in two different countries.
Mm.
I shot the top left and the bottom right in Maury, Kentucky, and the middle one that is Santa Monica in Los Angeles. And over here on the top right, that is the Hollywood sign.
Mm-hmm.
So that's also Los Angeles. And the one in the top middle and left bottom is Mexico City, by where I live when I can leave the country. Um, so this is like, for me, it was a way to talk about all these identities that interweave all these like places that
Mm-hmm.
I inhabit, depending on the location, and
Mm-hmm.
how I have learned to, like, I'm wearing glasses on that one because it was for me Los Angeles at one point in time was the place where dreams could happen,
Mm-hmm.
where the only way for me to have to be successful was to have all the shows and all the success by recognition of others. And you can see that, when that's why in Santa Monica I throw away those glasses because that part of my life is over. So the
Mm-hmm.
video ends when I'm gonna go a little bit forward here, and the video ends with these antlers. Antlers are important in Kentucky culture
Mm-hmm.
for hunting, and also that was a and also in Mexico for different dances about fertility and
Mm-hmm.
um, in, and also in and also they are I'm also using like some crocs in the on my ankles. Like, I don't remember how they are called in English, so but you get the idea.
Okay,
So
Crocs like
those
the
were,
shoes, like the shoes.
no, they're, I don't think that they are, I think I just made up a word.
Oh, okay. I thought you were talking about
In
the
Spanish,
rubber
I just,
shoes.
yeah, no, I in Spanish they are called crotalos. So I think I just made up a word and I just was trying to see if it worked in English, but it didn't.
Oh, okay.
So those are those are brought from Mexico, like those on the ankles.
Mm,
And my point with this is like this, my identity like changes. I'm more
mhm,
interested on more non-metaphysical in the sense like more like emotional satisfaction
mm,
rather than the what other people think. I'm more interested, I'm very aware of the how mediated my life is through camera and to
mhm,
making videos and to making videos like shooting myself,
mhm,
and the male gaze, I'm very aware of that, and I'm using it.
mhm,
So this work has been well accepted. Who knows how, like, I was just making it, but it has won two honorific mentions in two different shows.
Oh, great.
um yeah, so it's like very interesting to see how when you follow like one of my tips for today is like when you follow your passion
Mhm.
and you don't care like what other people think and you just do make work like crazy, then eventually something good will happen.
The only way it won't happen is if you don't put it out in the world, right?
Right, or if you are tame, right? Like
Mhm,
if you have a professor and the professor says like here is a guideline, and you just want to make work to fulfill that guideline and never push
mhm,
beyond that to try out like what happens if I go like beyond that and like push myself, then that's how nothing will happen. Yeah, and, another one that I wanted to show you, I think is going to be relevant now, is
mm.
this is the taco meter. And as I said, this is really like food, and you can see that normally it works with the when you push that button.
Uh-huh,
And this loop that I have here is when this chicken food chooses terror the a tostada. Just so
uh-huh.
everyone knows, in Mexico we don't have a tostada. It's an
What?
American invention.
Are you gonna tell me they don't have Mexican pizzas too?
I don't even know what that is.
Oh, sorry. Go to Taco Bell and
What
ask
is
for a
it?
Mexican pizza.
Okay.
It's
Okay.
kind of like tostada that's layered. and they call it a Mexican pizza at Taco Bell.
Oh, cool. Well, see, another one that I need to go to Taco Bell. Finally, I need to make peace and go to Taco Bell.
Yeah,
So for
put a
me, it is
Mexican pizza on the top of the list.
yes, yes, I'm gonna do that. And then down from that is gonna be a tostada with sour cream,
Mhm.
which also doesn't exist in Mexico.
Do they have like crunch wraps and all the other things?
We have one called a gringa, and that
Okay.
is
Oh,
a
okay.
taco. I know. See, it works both ways, right?
Uh-huh. Yep. I get
So
it.
it's a taco with cheese, like, and meat,
Okay.
because Mexicans normally don't put cheese and meat together in a taco.
Oh.
So this work is about my experience in the ports of entry in Mexico. There used to be in the airport in Mexico, kind of like a button like that, where you would push it, and if it said red, you were going to get inspected. Your luggage was going to get inspected. You were going to be asked questions, and
Mhm.
I would push it, and I would never get it. It was always green, but I always really saw really like people of color getting flagged randomly.
Mhm.
So I always think about this randomness, like, is
Mm,
it really random, or was
right.
someone like really
Profiling or something.
profiling them? Yeah.
Yeah.
So they took that away now, I think around 2020, as you said.
Mhm.
So, but this is like one of the projects that made me think about when the first Trump administration was around, and how it was talking about who's a patriot, who's a nationalist, and what is an American, and who's a
Mhm.
terrorist. So we were having a lot of discussions back then about
Mhm.
terrorism. And
Yeah, this animation, is it or is it an animation that we're looking at, or is it actually
i-
like a game, or
it's a
like is it pro?
game.
Okay.
And so you can push it once, and then it randomly. Mine is really it's almost randomized.
Okay.
um it's 80% randomized.
Okay.
And then it would give you different, if depending on what choice you hit, it would give you a different animation. And these are tacos, but they are also
Oh.
like vaginas.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, yeah.
All
So
right.
I was trying to pack everything in it. Since I talked about living in Kentucky, I'm going to come here.
Mhm.
I talked about how community is important for me.
Mhm.
And in Maury, I think less than 1% of people are Latinos. So I wanted
Mm.
to show the my how my community engagement has changed. So these are tobacco workers, and that are now the ones that come every season to pick tobacco. And the what you see here is a monotype of a tobacco leaves. So
Mhm.
basically, the tobacco is squished. Um, this is a Van Dyke print
Mm.
from one of these photographs. And one of the aspects that I love about community is that I get to learn new things. So I didn't know how to make a Van Dyke print, and I
Mm.
met someone at an SBE Midwest conference, and
Mhm.
she met with me on Zoom, and she told me about how I could make my work better.
Oh.
And it was just sharing knowledge.
Yeah. Oh, it's funny. My last guest actually showed a bunch of Van Dyke prints.
Oh, that's it.
So yeah, episode 3, if you want to check that out.
Well, yes, I
But
need to go back and listen to it.
yeah, it's a cool process though, isn't it?
Yes, and it's also good if you don't have really good ventilation. So it's something that you
Mhm.
can make and make your work new and feel like fresh.
Mhm. And
And I
I
also like, mhm.
well, the color also lends itself conceptually in this case.
Yeah, I wish I could keep it like this color, like kind of
Yeah.
golden, like
Yeah,
the
that's like
tobacco.
fresh out of the bath, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, but really it looks like this,
Mhm.
which is also nice, like
Mhm.
brownish. So I gave these prints to the tobacco workers. Like this one is a big one, but I made one for each one, and I'm gonna frame them so they can take them home. Because with this one, what I learned is that they want to put resin on it to
Mm.
preserve it. So I was like,
Oh.
maybe I should just give it to them, frame, so they can take it.
Mm. So they chose to just put resin on it without
Yeah, they were
saying
thinking
anything?
about how to make it better, how to put it in their
Oh.
homes, and they
Oh,
were thinking
interesting.
about putting resin on it to preserve it once it's on the
Hmm.
wall.
Oh,
And
interesting. Okay.
yeah. So I said, no, I don't think that you can do that.
Yeah. It's probably not good for it long term.
No, no. But so I learned about that.
Hmm.
And I've been working for the last 3 years on this project, and now
Hmm.
I'm ready to move on from it. But it was
Yeah.
a good way for me to learn about how other people dream. So they come here because they have this dream of having a better life back in Mexico.
Hmm.
I traveled to Mexico, to Nayarit, to visit them, and I saw how they live there and where all this
Hmm.
money is going. So
Hmm.
this tobacco worker specifically, he's building his house on cinder block, and this year he with the profit he made this last tobacco season, he is
Hmm.
putting his roof with tin foil. So
So, just so I'm clear, like the portraits of the tobacco workers, those are made in Kentucky, or
yeah.
okay, but they're coming from Mexico to work in Kentucky, and then they send the money back home to build homes. And is that correct?
Yeah, they live 6 months of the year in Mexico and 6 months
Okay,
here in the US. So
gotcha.
they are
Okay.
experiencing cultural shock
Hmm.
more in the for 20 years, because they get they're really the span that they can work is like about 10 15 years.
Hmm.
So that's a life that they have, where
Hmm.
they 6 months out of the year, that community in Mexico
Hmm.
is mainly women and children, because all men come to the US to work in other
Hmm.
states for the peach season, or like
Hmm.
Florida, or
Hmm.
the East Coast,
Yeah,
Washington.
I'm from Washington State, and in the apple and cherry season, we would see a large influx of migrant workers working the crops around those times.
Hmm. Yeah, so that's it's like all we are all humanity, and we are all trying to make our life better and care for the people that we love, and we are just trying to make the most out of the opportunities we are presented, and we are just trying to work.
Yeah, and so on this big print, was that like 24 by 18,
Yeah.
18 by 24, maybe?
No, it's like 24 by 36.
Oh, okay,
Yeah.
okay. And then so you're producing a large digital negative to do the Van Dyke print.
Hmm. Yeah.
Nice.
So this is how those big ones are made,
Mm-hmm.
and this is the if you when you work in a university, you have access to all the
Mm-hmm.
materials, right? Like this is
Right.
a
Yep.
big UV light unit.
Uh-huh. Yeah, because for those of you that don't know, the Van Dyke process, it's a ultraviolet sensitive. Well, it's light in general, but UV boxes work really well for exposing those.
Hmm. Yeah, it's very
That's a
similar
big
to the
UV
cyan.
box, though.
Yes, it's huge.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's bigger than the it's about a 44-inch printer, digital printer,
Mm,
just
nice.
times like the depth, right?
Yeah, yeah. So I didn't. I know you just had a show with this work, right? There's was it a two-person show?
Yeah, it was a
That
two-person show in
okay,
University of Kentucky with this work,
okay,
and it was the my partner. She grew up in Connecticut, so
okay.
her video work was about how the high school students from her that were many immigrants
Mm-hmm.
were chosen to be working as tobacco workers for the summer.
Okay.
And my work is about like this process of how the tobacco work is now right now in Kentucky. So I
Mm-hmm.
feel like there is parallelisms between the that community in Connecticut
Mm-hmm.
where those some of those immigrants like the from the generation before my friend like stayed in the US
Mm-hmm.
because of their work in tobacco. And I wonder if my community in Maury, in a town of 15,000 people, will change because some of these tobacco workers are also staying and they are
Mm-hmm.
putting roots in Western Kentucky.
Yeah. Well, like I mentioned, where I grew up, because of the apple and cherry industry, like the population shifted to about 40% Mexican,
Oh,
while I
wow.
was while I grew as I was growing up. So, um, but that I always thought that was great because it introduced, just brought culture into the valley. So no, I think
Yeah, I think
is this recent? Like where tobacco, like this is happening there? It hasn't actually had an effect yet, or you think it's still kind of ongoing?
I think it's ongoing. The for the last 10 years is when
Mm-hmm.
the this has shifted from Kentucky families
Mm-hmm.
having smaller plots of
Mm,
tobacco and not asking their neighbors and their family to come and harvest with them.
mm-hmm.
So they have shifted from that model to where
Mm,
now they basically hire a company, an American
mm-hmm.
company that
Mm.
outsources the labor, and
Okay.
they give assurances on their website that these are very hardworking people,
Mm-hmm.
that they are to be trusted, and they basically with a network they bring people from the same community. So basically, they hire this person, and then that person brings in like their godson or
Mm-hmm.
and cousin and things like that. So it's a network that is very tight.
Mm-hmm.
It's they rely a lot of on each other, and you have to be on your best behavior when you come to work in the US because your community depends on it, and everyone else's reputation depends on it.
Mm-hmm. And I think that's a story that you don't hear a lot, um, from that perspective, because I don't want to get too political, but there's things that different politicians say that aren't necessarily true. So, like,
Yeah, 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 exactly. And I think like the farmer, like the owner of this farm, he's a very
mm-hmm.
good owner, like a
Mm-hmm.
farm owner, and he gives them breaks
Mm-hmm.
in every 3 hours. And he let me do this project. He let me come and
Mm-hmm.
photograph them, and
Mm-hmm.
so he's very supportive. And he's also I see also how he's very stressed out on what is going to happen this
Mm-hmm.
year.
Yeah.
Like I don't know what his crop is going to be, right? Like
Yeah.
he exports a lot of soybeans to China. I don't know
Uh-huh.
how that will change this year with the new regulations. I think it's going to affect people in my area. They
Mm-hmm.
also grow corn
Mm-hmm.
for feed. So who's going to buy those? I don't know
Yeah.
what's going to happen.
Yeah. I imagine it's a lot of uncertainties at the moment, for sure.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Could you talk to me about this print here? I was looking at this like pattern. Is that a map, or what are we looking at across
Yeah.
the top?
So this across the top is on this area that you see here. This is
Mm-hmm.
the tobacco leaf.
Oh, okay.
Tobacco leaves have a lot of chlorophyll
Oh,
inside.
yeah. Uh-huh.
So what you see as those lines are the lines from the basically pressing it. So in
Okay.
printmaking, they have those presses where they
Mm-hmm.
do monotypes. So
Yeah.
this was pressed in that way, and then you can see on the right also that print.
Oh, okay. So it's so the leaf, so you have the print and you take the leaf and you're pressing it in the printmaking press. And like, are the leaves are green enough that the juices just kind of squeeze out and stain the print?
Yeah,
Oh,
and this
okay.
is actually like the first time I did it. like it was like so much juice that like I was like, oh, this did not work out. Like you
Oh,
couldn't make the outline. So this is
yeah.
the that leaf pressed 3 times to
Oh,
get just a
really?
little bit of, yeah. And
Oh,
that's why, like,
interesting.
another thing that why the a lot of Kentucky workers don't want to do this job is, first, it doesn't pay what they think that they should get. So
Mm-hmm.
no one else in this town wants to do this job. Secondly, part of it is because you can also get like poisoned. So
Oh, yeah.
these leaves are full of juice,
Uh-huh.
and when they get on your hands, you
Yeah.
basically have a full nicotine rush.
Yeah. Yeah. I remember one time I posed with a cigar for a photo, and I don't smoke cigars, but I remember like feeling it on my lips, and I was like, oh, there's a little buzz there. Like you
Ah,
can, yeah, yeah,
that's
there's
so
something
interesting.
just from contacting with it.
Yeah. And that is like the leaf already dried. So imagine
Right.
how more powerful it is when it's like green.
Yeah, I don't know if I've ever even been in a place where I could see like a green leaf like that. Like when you mentioned it being pressed and seeing how much stuff is on here, I was like, wow, there's a lot of like leaf juice coming out of that.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. It's
Cool.
it's hard labor. Yeah.
Yeah. So this project's over. Any thoughts on what's next, or still kind of formulating?
Yeah. So now I'm thinking about doing I want to continue a series of portraits
Mm-hmm.
that I do in glass plates,
Oh,
and I
cool.
want to do them, yeah, with people from my community, like different like makers that like either make like new technology, or they
Mm-hmm.
make by like writing, or ceramicists, or like those
Mm-hmm.
are the people that I have photographed so far. And I
Okay.
also I'm working on new project that celebrates the last 250 years of Kentucky. So I'm
Oh,
learning a lot about,
interesting.
yeah, I'm learning a lot about like history, how people were resettled because of the Tennessee Valley Authority, like to generate electricity. A lot of
Mm,
people were like moved from where they live to another area, so the um, river could, uh, or the dam could like defer the water. Also, like the before that, indigenous people were displaced with the porches. Basically,
mm-hmm.
they pay them very little money to move away. So I want to learn more
Mm-hmm.
about the history of the place where I live, and also
Mm-hmm.
how it keeps changing.
Mm-hmm. Oh, that sounds interesting. I'm looking forward to seeing what comes of that.
Yeah, thank
So,
you.
when we end the show, I ask photographers to think about what sort of advice they could give up and coming photographers. And, what are the types of things you wish you had known when you started? And, or something like that you know now,
Mhm.
just some sort of advice for people who are just getting going.
Yeah. So one of the ones that I wish I had known then is to that really your view of the world is appreciated. Like you see the world different, even though the same situation, you have a unique view. The learning the techniques and the tools is one thing, but really like focusing, pointing your camera at one thing versus another is
Mm-hmm.
making a decision, and that is valuable.
Mm-hmm.
Two would be to like really work hard because you're passionate about it. So trust your gut on what you want to, that you are attracted to photograph something. It doesn't
Mm-hmm.
mean that it's going to be the most successful thing, but again, like this is like dance as if no one is watching kind of
Mm-hmm.
story, where you have to make the work, and you have to um make lots of work to get like one thing that looks good, right? And
Mm-hmm.
that goes with like you evolve as you learn, and as you show more work. So that's that would be those would be the basic ones. And at the end, like share that with others, like make a community, trust
Mm-hmm.
people to give you feedback, and just don't think about like everything that you see on social media, and that is not what success looks like.
Oh, that's all really great advice. Thanks for sharing that. Well, Cynthia, we are here at the end of the show. Thank you so much for joining me today. And we have Cynthia's website there down at the bottom. Check out her work, and then follow her on Instagram, and be sure to check out all the new projects coming. All right, so we'll go ahead and end that there.
Yeah.
See ya. If you enjoyed the show, please like, subscribe, and leave us a comment. It helps us connect with more photography lovers just like you.